Hi, everyone. Welcome to Words with Wista. Welcome to my not so personal diary where I talk about pop culture, politics, internet chaos, and whatever is living rent free in my head. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's serious. Either way, you're hearing my thoughts out loud. If you're part of the Wista gang, part of the Wista crew, or part of the Wista posse, or you call yourself a Wista warrior, just know that I missed you. I really did. I really did miss you. And if you are a new listener, as in the words of Pop Smoke, welcome to the party. If you leave the party, girl, that's on you. But you guys, wow, what is this? This is the second week of the new year. How are we feeling? Happy Monday, by the way. What a nice way to start your week. We actually don't have a lot of topics to talk about just because of how heavy last episode was. Some people did reach out to me. They're like, "Yeah, that last episode was very dark." And I have to say this, the news is naturally dark, right? The news cycle is naturally dark, and especially with this current administration, it's just going to get darker. I always tell people, like, if you're someone who reports the news or stays updated to it, you just know the news is dark. You just know it is, but sometimes you have to, like, obviously listen to news to keep up with what's happening, not only globally or even locally. That's why I tell people to watch local news in addition to watching whatever is on like national traditional media like CNN, or even reading a newspaper, or even if you engage more with like those YouTube based news channels like the Young Turks, right? So just keeping yourself informed. Obviously, you're talking to somebody who has studied journalism, has worked in PR. I naturally have to know what's in the know. So sometimes I don't want to know these things, but somebody needs to know it. You know what I mean? Because the news and what is ever happening in your environment globally does affect you. Think about that. That's why when I do the little spiel for the politics section, you see, yeah. You know what? Let's just go straight to it. Do I even have a life update? Honestly, whatever happened last week or about a week ago, same thing, just embracing it all. We are what, 12 days into the new year, so many days to come. Can't wait to see what's next. Feeling great, feeling optimistic. Like Jill Scott said, I'm living my life like it's golden. That's it. Like I always say, you guys, everything always works out in my favor. That's all I need to know. I'm getting the confirmation everything is working in my favor, and that's all I got to say right now. I will update you guys and give you guys an actual life update, detailed life update, probably in 6 months. So ask me in 6 months. That's June, right? January, February, March, April, May, June. Ask me in June, okay, around the summertime. Then we can have that little conversation. But let's move on to the politics section. Okay, here's a spiel. Let's say it together. We come from many different places. We come from many different races. We come from many different ethnicities. We come from many different financial backgrounds. We come from many different educational backgrounds. But what brings us together? Politics and the economy. Let's talk about what the Trump administration is messing up this week. Okay, well, where do we start? There's a lot going on when it comes to Minnesota and ICE. I did go into detail last episode, so I'm going to try to keep it short for this politics section just because Friday's episode was just too heavy, and I feel like we need to do a little short and cute episode. Well, the Nobel Institute has rejected the interim president of Venezuela. She basically is saying that she would provide Donald Trump with a Nobel Peace Prize. And you guys know Trump really wants that prize, and he's just not going to get it. The Nobel Institute literally said, no, we're not doing this. This is not how you do Nobel Peace Prizes. You're actually trying to help people. Where was the help? I get in the aspect of, yes, Venezuela no longer has a dictator, but now look what's going on. They're fighting for oil. Now we're seeing the aspect of America going to the point where, yes, he's trying to send troops over there to get oil. But not only with that, too, we're hearing that like major investors are saying that investing into Venezuela isn't really investable. Like they're saying that. I still have to do a little deep dive on it, but I was doing a little reading how like major like oil investors are saying, why are we investing into this? It's not worth it. So we'll just have to keep it updated with that when it comes to overall things. But I think I'll probably have a conversation about that next episode within our financial section, because let's be real, it's almost tax season, and I know you guys need to file those taxes soon, okay? Who wants to owe the IRS when the IRS should be owing you some money? This man is trying to get his way. Even him trying to get this Nobel Peace Prize. We're hearing with the fact that now the president is trying to threaten and rename the Kennedy Center. He renamed it to the Trump Kennedy Center, and now he's trying to get rid of Kennedy and just call it the Trump Center. What is going on? Like, you have to be a yes man to be in that department. Like, you have to be a yes man to be in this administration. You have to be a follower. You cannot be a leader if you are in that administration. If you are in that administration, I just know that you will pick me. You will pick me, you will pick me, you will pick me. That whole administration is full of pick me's, and they all want to be picked by the president. But hey, you know what? If that's what you guys want, this is what you guys voted for. That's all I can say about that. But in addition to me mentioning the fact that the president does want the Kennedy portion of the Trump Kennedy Center, because that's what they call it now, he wants it to be called the Trump Center. Well, we just found out that the Smithsonian had removed references to Trump's impeachment. We know that this administration has been pressuring major Smithsonians, regardless if it is the national one. I know there's another one based with like space and everything. We know the Smithsonian specifically for African American history. So they've been pressuring every single Smithsonian to eliminate a portion of what that White House deems as uncomfortable. It's like, no, this is part of history. This is part of history. Hate to break it to you, a lot of this is part of history. You got impeached. And now, if you think about it, last episode, we talked about the fact that Trump literally said, if the Republicans do not win midterms, there's a possibility he'll be impeached again. Make it make sense, right? Make it make sense. And now let's segue to the next topic. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this. We did talk about James Comey and Letitia James and how Trump was trying to get them indicted for certain crimes. And obviously a judge was like, no, we're not doing this. We know Letitia James had a lot to do with streamlining Trump's impeachment. Well, the feds are trying again, and they're opening a new investigation into Letitia James, but they're doing it through her hairdresser. Well, if you guys don't know, her hairdresser is actually very popular in the Brooklyn area, but I'm guessing what's going on is that the hairdresser is currently going through some scam allegations because they're trying to get Letitia James. They're trying to accuse her of scamming, and then also they're saying that James's campaign had allegedly paid the hairstylist around like $36,000. It's just a very much like a hot mess express. I don't know if you guys know, but her hairstylist, Marche, is currently facing bank fraud and aggravated identity theft charges tied to a 2019 Land Rover purchase. Which, girl, like the Land Rover, like, you know, the updated Land Rover, like the Land Rover Defender, or like a Range Rover, because Land Rover owns Range Rover and Defender. Like, that's the whole company, and then Jaguar owns it. Are you guys telling us this has to do with like a 2019 Range Rover? Because I'm sorry, Range Rovers are probably one of the worst luxury vehicles you can buy. And my dad has always said that. My dad had a Range Rover, and he talked about how he hated that car. He hated that car. Whenever he sees one, my brother has one, he's like, don't even put me in this. Don't let me sit in there. But that's a conversation for another time. So the investigators are now questioning whether Marsh's relationships with Letitia played a role into her finances. This also includes tens of thousands of dollars in campaign spending for studio rentals and event work connected to Marche, who was also a friend of Letitia. Right? Marche actually owns a Brooklyn hair salon and was an event manager between May 2018 and February 2019 during Letitia's re-election bid. So they're really just trying to find out what sticks and how they can basically prosecute Letitia James. But I just want to clarify that James is not being accused. Like, she hasn't been accused for any wrongdoings, or it hasn't Marche. But, the Fed, they're always trying to find some certain ways. Look who's running it. Like, look who's running everything. Christy Nome, freaking, what, Pam Bondi and Cash Patel. Tweedledee, Tweedledum. Like, the Three Stooges. That's it. And let's not forget, back in like December, they were trying to like accuse her of, after she was being accused of bank fraud over a Virginia home purchase. But then we all know that all collapsed, because let's not forget how they were trying to get Lindsay Halligan to do this whole situation and streamline it so they can get Letitia out of here. And then they're like, wait, why are you guys going to have Lindsay Halligan be involved and being the leading prosecutor for this situation when she was not even properly appointed, and she's very much favored within the president? Like, the president wanted her specifically, because let's not forget too is James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey, is a huge federal prosecutor. She was actually the lead federal prosecutor in the Diddy case, and we're seeing this, like, everything's tying in together. Also, too, Maureen Comey also worked on the Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein cases as well. So think about why Donald wanted her out of here. Think about that. Think about why he didn't want her in a certain position. Think about that for sure. Think about that. She was literally fired with no explanation. But then again, too, there's a lot of people who get fired in corporate America with no explanation. But either way, they're trying so hard to build a case on Letitia James. It's like, Trump, just admit that she got you. She was one of the reasons you got impeached. You're mad. You're hurt about it. You're trying to go against all your enemies. And guess what? I don't know who is in your team telling you, giving you this advice. It's not working. You cannot outlaw the people who work in law if you are not even educated in the law. They're saying that you have a law degree from UPenn. I don't know what sector of UPenn's law school you went to, or if you took an online course. Well, then during your time, they didn't have online courses. But I don't know what it is, or you just didn't pay attention, or you just paid your way through the school. Regardless, sir, you're not getting your way. Just deal with it. I get it. You got a bunch of yes men, but you're not going to get your way with this. You cannot outlaw the people who know the law, work in the law, and understand the loopholes. Hate to break it to you. This man is so used to getting his way. Why is it that France is actually delaying the G7 meeting just so we can celebrate America's birthday and watch them have a UFC match at the White House? Wow. You guys are canceling an important event, the Group 7 meeting, something that actually needs to be discussed, something where they can discuss the importance, because I don't know if you guys know, the G7 is an intergovernmental political and economic forum consisting of 7 countries. Let me name them for you: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the US, right? Okay, and then you could also include the EU, but they're not really like deep dive into it. Now, they discuss many things regarding economic crises, financial crises, anything that has something to do with whatever is affecting globally or those locations. So for example, that G7 meeting they're going to have, they're probably going to discuss what Venezuela, Greenland, they're going to discuss the current state of the economy globally, but also within those said countries. They're going to talk about the climate. They will be talking about just overall change. And even when it comes to the aspects of tariffs, even the aspect of what immigration, when it comes to immigration in the US and also those countries, because guess what? Those countries also have immigration laws as well too. Another example I'll provide of the G7 mainly coming together to help other countries would be, for example, the Amazon rainforest fires, right? They donated around $20 million to help Brazil with the rainforest fires. So not only are they thinking about their location wise too, but they're also discussing what's going on globally. And in addition to that as well, they've always had issues with the US when Trump was in office. The G7 could have never really do much. Well, they did some things, but when the Trump administration was in, it was always some mess. It was always this. It was always that. Trump would always try to pull out of the G7. Like I reported last week, right? The US is already removing itself from many initiatives within the UN. And it's like, okay, what is going on? And this is not making any sense, which is why I'm thinking, okay, eventually international law and the UN is going to step in. Because just because you are the president of the United States of America, there's a higher power. I have to say that. I have to. I have to say that there is a higher power. Hate to break it to you. There is. There is. Go look at the United Nations. Go look at the list of people who are leads at the UN. There's a reason why they're leading it. And you know the crazy thing is, there's not one American in that lead. The Secretary General is from Portugal. He's from Portugal. He's not from the States, and he's part of the Socialist Party in Portugal, which I don't know much about that. We'll do the research eventually one day when the time comes, right? But that's where he's from, right? Okay. Now, the Deputy Secretary General, I spoke about her last episode. She's Nigerian, but she's from the UK. So you have Portugal and the UK. The General Assembly president, who brings everyone together when they do the General Assembly in September, where all the world leaders come to New York City, she's from Germany. So now you have Portugal, the UK, you could even say / Nigeria, and Germany. And then the Economic and Social Council president, guess where they're from? Nepal. Don't be surprised if they're already having meetings about what's going on and they'll step in. I won't be surprised. I'm pretty sure they will be stepping in soon. It just has to get a little bit crazier and they will be stepping in. That's all I got to say when it comes to this. But yeah, it is crazy how they are pushing back an important meeting just so there can be a UFC match at the White House. Wow, I wonder how much those tickets are going up for. So y'all are literally going to pay all this money to go to the White House, which is also under construction. And we saw those pictures. Where are they going to have this? You guys are literally about to pay Dana White to go have this whole thing, which I still cannot forget the way all those people were looking at Obama during the inauguration, and Dana White was looking at Obama like a certain way. And I was like, yeah, sir, you're in the presence of greatness. All I can say is, wow, you guys did this so a problematic man can bring in a problematic platform to the problematic White House so they can fight the UFC, which is owned by a problematic man. But then you know what? A lot of these companies were founded by problematic people. Let's talk about Minnesota for a quick second, just because we know that they are all over the news, especially with the passing of Renee Good. Well, I don't know if you guys know, the Trump administration has decided to freeze SNAP funding in Minnesota. You guys already know how Donald Trump is. If you didn't vote for him or you live in a state that he didn't win, he's going to make sure that you deal with something. He's going to make sure you don't get funding. He's going to find a way just so you can suffer for not voting for him, which is freaking crazy. So freaking crazy, because it's like, sir, you have people who voted for you in those states. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have people who voted for you in that state. So you're basically showing your audience base that you don't care. But then again, too, they should have known that you don't care about them, because look at everything that you've done. But still, they're freezing the benefits with that. So not only are people mourning the death of this woman, they're dealing with the aspect of having ICE in their town and trying to protest. But in addition with that as well, too, you're trying to get rid of people's SNAP benefits. I just want you to know is, okay, you could get rid of a resource from people. People are still going to find a way to get food. You're acting like people don't steal. You're acting like people don't steal. People be stealing at the freaking self-checkout. I went to CVS once and I saw this lady not scan a whole bunch of things. I mind my business. Do what you got to do. I don't know what you're going through. That's what it is. Like, I don't know what you're going through. You don't know what people are going through. So you're just giving people an opportunity just to steal. That's it. You know what? Go to Whole Foods. Go get you some freaking Gala apples or some Fuji apples. Go get yourself some kale. Go get yourself some broccolini. Guys, just let me know if I said broccolini very aggressive. I don't know what it is. I emphasize my B's a little too hard. But then again, too, I am from New York. But I feel like I said broccolini like crazy. And since we are talking about food and the fact that they are trying to get rid of SNAP benefits, and then also the fact that people tend to forget that we have literal food deserts in the United States of America. The unlikable Kennedy and the man who acts like he went to med school and has never went to med school, RFK Jr., has officially put out the new dietary guidelines for just overall health for Americans and what they should be eating. We know that this administration, specifically RFK, is running on he does not want people to eat processed foods. I fully understand that. Yes, let's eat more green things. Let's eat much healthier. Yes, let's provide those things. But how are you going to ask people to eat clean or eat on a protein, full fat dairy diet or eat more greens when you guys are not even letting these things be accessible for people, right? But then also, too, how is it that healthy foods are becoming more expensive than junk food? How is that possible? There are certain places you can go to get like really well priced vegetables, but you have to know those spots. And sometimes those places have like vegetables and everything like that, but they're at the verge of rotting. So you have to know how to what? Preserve that for some people. I think there's a lady in Philly who goes to like certain grocery stores where they have like whatever is left over or just like soon to rot vegetables. The only reason I'm thinking about Philly is because this person lives in Philly. She's a Philly influencer. I forgot her name, but when I find it, I will tell you guys to follow her. But they have all these vegetables that are at the verge of rotting, and she's like, no, we're going to try to find a way. You can freeze it. So making sure you freeze it. But RFK is telling us, oh, no, you don't need to do that. You can't afford the veggies fresh. Just go get them canned. Get them frozen. I thought canned goods is not good for you to a certain extent, like depending on when it comes to your health or even when it comes to freezing food. Even when it comes to the aspect, I see some of you guys arguing on the internet about how you should cook your hot dogs if you cook the hot dogs while it's wrapped in the plastic packaging. Do you guys know about microplastics? You know what? A lot of you guys did not pay attention in science class, and it tells. Let's quickly discuss the pros and the cons of the new dietary guidelines. Well, first thing, it encourages a high protein diet. They're already saying that like Americans are eating high protein in general, but you're eating protein to the excess where it's like, okay, this is too much protein. Too much of anything is going to be bad for you. It encourages fruits and veggies. Obviously, that's important. That helps you overall with your health, but also your bowel movement, right? Limited added sugar intake. Yes, that's important because guess what? Sugars are bad for your body. That can help you develop diabetes. That's not good because then again, too, who wants to get that? Limits of artificial dyes. Obviously, we know that there are certain dyes that are in food. What is that one? It was called Red 40, something like that. It's not good for you. They're cancer causing issues. And it also encourages less processed foods because guess what? Processed foods are often processed with chemicals that can cause illnesses, even breakouts, hormonal issues. So I could understand that. Now, here are the cons. High saturated fat intake. Yes, saturated fats are bad for you. It discourages whole grains. You do need whole grains in your diet. I get it. People are like, oh, we shouldn't be eating carbs. You still need to eat carbs. You still need to eat carbs. Some sort of carb. A sweet potato. Some brown rice. Some jasmine rice. It's all about your portions. Portion control is the real thing. It's the real deal. If you want to slim down or just like maintain your weight, right? Okay. It encourages a lot of red meat and cheese. Red meat is naturally not good for you. We know dairy is not good like that either, right? So just know your cholesterol. His dietary guideline is all about cholesterol. I get it. You want to have a steak, that's fine. But you cannot be eating steak and eggs every single freaking day. That is going to mess with your arteries. It's okay to just have egg whites. That's totally fine. And when it comes to cheese, and I love me some cheese, but still, that causes high cholesterol. Not me about to say it with a Haitian accent. That give high cholesterol. Cholesterol. Your cholesterol is high. Cholesterol, whoa, oh my God. But also, it does not specify alcohol intake, which is like, girl, do you not deal like did you guys not think about the aspect of alcohol? And Dr. Oz, who actually went to med school, was like, well, we can't really count on that. Logically, people should be thinking they shouldn't be having alcohol for breakfast. um Dr. Oz, you are a man with an MD, a professional degree, when there are studies shown that the average American has the reading level of a fifth grader. Think about that. Stop it, sir. Starbucks literally has a drink that is a whiskey cold brew that you can drink any time of the day at their Starbucks Reserve store. Yeah, stop it. Stop it. Please don't. And even if there were anything about like alcohol intake, let's be real. People are going to find a way to get their fix. Moonshine, fermented fruit, they'll find a way. Not only with that too, there's no clear guidelines about exercise when it comes to this overall. You're not telling people, oh, they should go on a walk. Oh, they should get 20 minutes of cardio or doing some weightlifting. You guys mentioned nothing about it, right? Also, the pyramid design is like very outdated. I'm not gonna lie. If you go Google that image, it looks very much AI generated, right? And the unrealistic expectations for kids to have like no added sugar is so not real. Like it really isn't. Because even when you go to like Whole Foods and you see those organic snacks, or even the bioengineered snacks, or what else? The non-GMO, like you have to look at the labeling. Sometimes there's something added in. There's something added in. Those little Annie's those Annie little cheese crackers, those Annie gummies that you guys like to eat. I know Annie's putting something in those rabbit shaped snacks. You can't convince me. You cannot convince me that those rabbit cheese snacks, the little cheese crackers shaped like rabbits, don't have something similar to those goldfish or those Cheez-Its. Either way, let's just see how this turns out, because a lot of this is giving very much unrealistic almond dad, very much like a lot of this is unrealistic, especially with the aspect of like red meat. When people know that red meat, yes, it's occasionally fine to have it, but it is terrible to have within your diet. I'm just saying for sure. But hey, what can I say? You're talking to somebody who lost 100 pounds. So what can I say? Listen to RFK. RFK said he knows it. He said he went to med school. He studied nutrition. He knows what he can do. So, you know what? I'm about to go ask like an actual doctor who studied nutrition, or I might even ask like people who like weight loss doctors about this, because they'll tell me, and I know a couple weight loss doctors, okay? And I know you guys are like, what's the, you say you know a couple people. The crazy thing is I just naturally know some people who are connected with other people. That's the perks. You guys got to network more. Network. You never know. Expand your network, because when you actually have conversation with people from other fields, you really get to know a few things. This is why I say that. Yeah. And I also recommend too, I'm going to give y'all some dating advice. Stop dating people in y'all field. That too. But that's a conversation for another time. Since we are talking about the workplace, because I did mention knowing people from other fields, let's go back into more of the entertainment business. Last episode, I did talk about the fact that companies were going to do layoffs. The same day I dropped that episode, I went on TikTok and people just started announcing on January 5th, the day they came back from holiday break, they got laid off. So there that is. Well, we know that Paramount was recently bought out by Skydance, which Skydance and Oracle are involved with buying TikTok. Well, Paramount, which now is going by Paramount Skydance, says that 600 employees took a severance and quit instead of returning to office. We know that a lot of employers now want people to go back to office for 5 days a week. They're like, hey, we bought this corporate building. We want to make sure that our investment is at least we're getting a return in that investment. You guys need to come to the office. We're paying this rent. Can you guys please come in? Well, they gave them that severance or come into the office for 5 days. And people were like, you know what, F it. They don't want to go into the office. Honestly, commuting can be so tiring to the point where it's like, depending on where you live, even if you're like someone like myself who lives in Rockland County, commuting to the city by like bus or train can be very stressful. Even when you do it by car, but also you have to factor in traffic. If you're commuting by the train, let's say you live in Rockland, you got to take the New Jersey Transit, then you got to get up at Penn Station, then you got to get on the subway, depending where your office is, right? Or if you're someone like myself, I used to get off at Hoboken. I took the path into the city. I get off at 23rd Street. I get off at 33rd Street, sometimes 9th Street. It really depends on where your office is. That's why on job interviews, I'm like, where the office is, so I could plan out this commute. Because your commute really can either make or break you. I know people who commute from Connecticut to the city or even Philly to New York City. I'm like, yeah, no. That's when you got to get a job in Philly. I'm not doing that. That does not sound great. That's a 2-hour commute back and forth. So that's basically you're commuting for 4 hours a day. And if you're telling me that somebody who lives in Philly has to be in that office in New York, commute 4 hours every day, yeah, you might as well just move to the city or move to a suburb or move to Jersey and commute that way. There are some people who do live in New York and have their jobs located in Boston, but they only have to be in that said location like once a month, and they could still work from home. So we're seeing a difference in the aspect of working remotely. And how is that going to change as more companies start implementing that they want people in the office 5 days a week? Some people already have set routines of how they are, even working 3 days a week. I remember this one place I was at, they were like, okay, well, we're transitioning from 2 days a week to 3 days a week. That extra day of having to go to the office can be so annoying because now you're like, dang, I have an extra day where I have to plan out this outfit. Now I have to get this ready. Now I have to get that ready. And also planning out what days you want to commute, just because I've noticed Tuesday is that universal go to the office day where everyone is on the train. Let's not forget that New York now has like the whole congestion laws when it comes to driving. So that's something else to factor in. But the fact that over 600 people left, and the company had about 18,600 workers at the end of 2024, and those severance packages basically cost Paramount 185 million last quarter. Yeah, that tells you enough. There were 600 people that said, you know, it's not worth it. You guys just got bought out and you guys sold out for no reason. But hey, they're going to bounce back. Maybe the severances were that good to the point they were like, you know what? I'd rather take the severance and make a bet on myself and do something else and truly chase that passion, that dream, which I always tell people, like, even if you're working a corporate job or you're in that field that you want to be in, still start a business, start a side hustle, because you just never know. You just never know. But then again, too, you're talking to somebody who was basically born and raised by two entrepreneurs. Like, I come from a background of entrepreneurship. My dad always says, to really make it in America, yes, you can work for the man, but use that money that you're making for the man to start your own business. Because in the end, you need to be the man to make the man's money. Now, since we are talking about money, making money, let's talk about this Texas couple that has been convicted for $25 million due to a pyramid scheme that hit thousands. There was a couple based out in Texas that use religion and the pandemic to scam black people. They were a black couple and they specifically said that they wanted to help the community, especially during these hard times. And mind you, this happened when we were all getting stimulus checks. So they scammed all of these people out of their stimulus checks. You know how we talk about the whole Susu situation where everybody puts their money in and then one person gets the money and then everybody else got to do it? Well, basically what they said was you invest like what 1,400, 1,600. I remember the stimulus check was like what 1,200. You would provide that and then everyone would do a little timeline circle to when it was your turn to get it. You would get around like $11,000, which, hey, still during the pandemic at that time, people were trying to find ways to make money. People were trying to find ways because people were either getting laid off or they were on unemployment. But for some people, that unemployment just wasn't enough to even help them get through those times. Well, the couple goes by the name LaShonda and Marlon Moore. They were kind of seen as like the power couple of their area because Latasha was from Arkansas. Marlon was from Louisiana, but he moved to Texas, became like this big DJ. He went by the name DJ ASAP. He ended up actually DJing for like, wait, was it 106 Park or Hot 97? Either one of those big outlets out in New York. And they ended up getting together and being seen as a power couple. They so much wanted to be in the spotlight and wanted to live like the celebrity life where they had celebrities coming to speak to folks that they were scamming because their whole organization was called Bent, which is called Blessings in No Time. And they just talked about the fact that, oh, yes, we're a God fearing couple and God wants us to bless the black community just because we're trying to build generational wealth. Because let's be real, as a community, we love to say generational wealth, generational wealth, generational wealth. Literally to the point, that's all you got to say, generational wealth. But it's the fact that they used religion to really get into the depths of these people and take whatever was in their wallets. And I've spoken about this before about another influencer. Go listen to the episode called Scamming in the Name of Jesus, which I'm still surprised y'all still follow her and her scamming ass husband with them damn freaking taxes. And you know who I'm talking about. She and her husband had that tax company with the kangaroo. And she had that damn freaking Bible company with the girls with the, you know who I'm talking about. And they said that her daddy is allegedly Uncle Magic. If you don't know who Uncle Magic is, you're not from New York. You know those damn commercials where he was like the hip hop clown. Yep, I'm talking about her. Scamming in the name of Jesus. And look at you guys doing this again, which I'm not surprised when people run a scam, they try to use the vulnerable folks, right? Yes, the aspect of religion, think about it. Religion can bring in a community, but when people are going through something, people tend to gravitate towards religion. Regardless what religion they're in, they tend to gravitate towards it just because that can be a form of them having that optimism, that hope, but then them also building a community, but also being around folks who may be going through something as them as well too, right? Okay, so they kept saying, oh, yes, we're a God fearing couple. God told us we have to do this. And I'm just like, y'all blaming this all on God when God knows for sure he had nothing to do with this. He had nothing to do with this. He's like, how you guys gonna say I told you guys to do this? I didn't tell you to do this. But it got to the point where they got celebrities involved. They got even to be interviewed by the Breakfast Club to the point where it's like, okay, you guys are flashy, you guys are doing all this, but when people start saying, hey, where's the money? Where's the money? It got to the point where the DOJ had to get involved. And I think the sad thing about this whole situation, yes, they have been indicted and yeah, they're going to prison and they owe money, but it's like, hopefully those victims get something back from this. Hopefully they get their payout. They get something from that restitution because it's the fact that you guys took advantage of people at a vulnerable state. But I think the most important thing is people need to use discernment. If somebody tells you that they're going to be able to help you make money fast, don't take it because it's most likely a scam. And this is another example of stop comparing yourself to people on social media, because majority of the time they're either scamming or selling it. They're doing something, because people who genuinely are successful, genuinely are doing it. Yes, some of them might be a little flashy, but they'll be able to tell you what to do without even having to get a payout. They'll just be like, go on the internet. Because even with that too, Marlon and LaShonda could have literally been fine if they just sold courses online. They should have just literally just sell a course. And that whole Susu layout of people putting money in, and as one person gets in, one person gets in, it could work out if everyone in the group is being ethical about it. But if people are not ethical about it, it's not going to work out. And that just goes to show you. And now they're going to prison. They had a big lavish wedding and everything. I won't be surprised if she divorces him after their whole like prison time is done and up. I would not be surprised at all. But that's what happens. I'm still amazed that scammers, you guys like to scam and be loud about it. Why can you not scam in peace? If you're going to scam, scam in peace. Do you not think that the feds or anybody isn't watching? They probably know what you do. They're like, okay, he's a DJ, but how can he afford a Rolls Royce? You know what? Then again, too, DJ Envy is a DJ, but that's a whole conversation. But wait, if they got indicted, and that just brought up DJ Envy, what is going on with that whole like real estate scam case with Cesar Pena? And I know they're saying that DJ Envy didn't get indicted or anything like that, but what's going on with that? Because also, if you guys don't know, DJ Envy is now like the chief culture officer for the American Dream. American Dream is this big mega mall in New Jersey, and they're currently underwater as well too, because in certain parts of New Jersey, they're closed on Sundays. Like their retail stores are closed. But for some reason, the American Dream is always open, which abides against the New Jersey law. You see what I'm trying to play on with this? I'm just saying. But for DJ Envy to be the chief culture officer of a mall in New Jersey, there wasn't another new celebrity from New Jersey y'all could get. But then again, you know what? Never mind. I'm happy for you, DJ Envy. But we need updates on that case, because I know they said that Cesar Pena had pleaded not guilty. That's when he pleads that he's not guilty. But this still is going through like a jury and a trial. But we'll see what happens overall when it comes to this whole situation. Regardless, don't scam. And if you're going to scam, I don't recommend it. But still, stop popping off on social media, because just know somebody will report you to the feds. Somebody will. Just like you guys say, monitoring spirits. Just know that person watching your IG story and not engaging with your content will be the first one to call Cash Patel and Christy Nome and find a way to get you out of here. Now, let's talk about St. Louis. You guys know, whenever I talk about St. Louis, Missouri, I mainly talk about what? Pop the balloon, St. Louis. That's usually when I talk about St. Louis. Well, now we need to talk about the fact that they're saying that there are monkeys running around the streets of St. Louis, and they don't know how those animals escaped their zoo to be on the streets. But then also they're saying that there are goats literally running on the streets. What is going on with these animals escaping these facilities? Because isn't this like what? The third time a monkey has escaped from their facility in the past, 7 months. The last one that we heard about it, a mother literally shot at it. And this was like a couple months ago. So who's doing this? Because you can't tell me nothing. And I remember the last time they said that some of those monkeys had like certain diseases, but what they're saying is they're recommending, if you do see the monkey, do not entertain them, do not even try to stop it yourself, because let's not forget, these are still animals and their strength is super crazy. Don't recommend it. But who is releasing these animals in these places? And it's kind of weird how it's like a lot of these animals are popping up in like places in the South or like the Midwest. You don't really hear about this happening in like New York. But then again, too, I think they're in what, in California? Was it in California? There's like a bear that keeps going into like this person's basement and basically lived there for like a couple months. That's crazy. I'm sorry. I can't. You see, I can't. This is why when people are like, "Oh yeah, I want to live in the woods somewhere look secluded," I'm like, "No, thank you." I already have to deal with deer, raccoon, and skunks. Oh, let's not even forget squirrels. But do you not know the smell of when somebody accidentally runs over a skunk? Like, girl, no, 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 thank you. No, that smell is so bad. And if you got your AC vents on too, ooh, I guess we can say here's another reason why I'm not stepping my foot in St. Louis. That's another reason. Pop the Balloon was number one, but now y'all got monkeys running all over the place. Yeah, St. Louis is not seeing me for a bit, especially this. I said it because of the Pop the Balloons and the options y'all had on the show. Still to this day, I am gonna say this about Pop the Balloon St. Louis. I'm happy that they stepped it up, but still, the people you got going on the show, if this is the dating culture over there, yeah, y'all are cooked. But still, y'all got monkeys running all over the damn freaking town. This is a mess. This is a mess. They need to do an investigation on these facilities because how are they escaping? How are they escaping? It's not making any sense to me. Well, I just don't know why I even have this on the docket, but Marvel has officially scrapped the Blade movie. I know a lot of us were excited to see Blade just because, let's be real, very much an iconic comic book, comic hero, all that. The last time we saw Blade was with Wesley Snipes, but they scrapped it now and we'll just have to see what happens. I feel like a lot of like these studios are going through major changes. Honestly, I don't want a Blade movie until like we have a Democrat in office because having a Blade movie right now, I don't know about that. Yeah, not yet. Let's wait. Let's wait it out. Let's have some blue folks in office first before this movie comes out because you know how much mess it's going to cause. Oh my God. This black man is a vampire. He's slicing people up. Oh my God. Because you saw how crazy they went when Black Panther came out. Yeah. You saw how crazy it went when we all got dressed up in those damn dashikis for Black Panther. Which are we like? Let's say this: the Blade movie comes out. What are we gonna wear? We're gonna wear all black with the black trench coat and the sunglasses. All I'm happy is that Blade was never going to be Jonathan Majors, but they said that Marashala Ali was supposed to be Blade. But you know what? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Let's just wait it out. Let's wait it out. I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige and everyone at Marvel Studios, they have something under their sleeve. They have it. We'll just have to figure it out eventually. Well, this portion of the episode, we're just going to be talking about parasocial relationships. This is all about parasocial relationships. Yes, we are going to talk about Christy Scott and the fact that she filed for divorce from her husband Desmond Scott amid of infidelity. And we're also going to talk about Cardi B and Jessie Woo. Let's talk about Cardi B and Jessie Woo. Well, Cardi B literally crashed out again and called out with Jessie Woo because I'm guessing that one of Jessie Woo's listeners, followers on her YouTube channel had said that Cardi allegedly had a revenge baby out of spite for Offset, all that jazz. And Jessie Woo kind of agreed with it, and she did because she had the thing on the screen. She read it and said, yes, ma'am, you may have not said it, but somebody who is a supporter of yours said it and you co-signed it. So it kind of interprets for people that you agreed with it and you said it. But also that led to a lot of people making xenophobic comments about Jessie and her being Haitian, which is like, I just hope you guys do know, like, just because that person is Haitian or that doesn't mean you have to be xenophobic for them, because there are plenty of Haitian people that don't like Jessie Woo. I just want to say that. Okay, perfect. But then even with the fact that like Cardi just went in and in and in and in and in, and I get it, that's gonna hurt because that's involving your child. But just to bring up the equation, last week we talked about her versus Tasha K. I forgot to mention, trigger warning, Cardi B had mentioned something about Tasha K being essayed. and Tasha's relationship with her mom. And she literally said, "That's why you were when you were a child." It's like, girl, you can't be saying these things. You shouldn't be saying these things. I feel like when it comes to Cardi B, Tasha K, Jessie Woo, they've all said something anti-black to a certain extent. They've all said something problematic. They've all said this. The only thing is that Cardi B has a bigger platform. But also too is they all have people who have parasocial relationships with them, right? They have follower bases and fan bases that are not afraid to go all above and beyond and defend their fave as if they know them. This is why I tell people you have to be logical when it comes to who you support, but then also what you decide to defend, right? I saw some people defending Cardi when it came to against Tasha K, and I'm like, I get it. Tasha, anti-black comments, anti-women at times, but to bring up that woman's essay, that is crazy, and I can't support that, right? And you can say the same thing with the things that Tasha has said about Cardi. Can't support that either. But to see people literally go in for Cardi or seeing people go in for Tasha, I'm just thinking to myself are y'all going in hard like that for what's going on in y'all lives? Because these parasocial relationships are a little bit too much that I don't see you guys doing that or keeping that same energy for your friendships. I don't see you guys doing that. You guys will go head to head, bar to bar, toe to toe with a stranger on the internet, somebody you'll never meet, for a celebrity that probably doesn't even know you exist, or a public figure, just someone that doesn't even know you exist. You could probably tag them on your Instagram multiple times and they never engage with your content, but you probably have your friend who's going through something and you can't even stand 10 toes down for them. That's crazy. But in addition, overall, I just feel like, yeah, the Libras are crashing out, the Cancers are crashing out, and the Pisces, y'all going down bad. Pisces women, let me just bring it over here. Clarissa Shields, Rihanna, y'all are going down when it comes down for these men. Pisces women, I don't know what it is. When y'all get into relationships, Janae Aiko, ooh, when you guys get into relationships, y'all go down bad. I don't know what it is. It must be the dreamy state of the Pisces woman, but y'all start acting like Clarissa. I don't know what it is. You could put Janae Aiko in the same way. We saw how Big Sean did her, but still, it's not making any sense. But regardless, when it comes to this whole like Jessie Woo situation and Cardi, yes, Jessie did clap back. She did say the fact that she didn't like the fact that there were tons of black women defending Cardi and they were saying xenophobic comments and just all that jazz. It's like, in the end of it, Jessie, hate to bring it to you, just because we're all black women does not mean we are all the same. We are not going to agree with everything together. I'm not even taking anybody's side when it comes to this because I was just very disturbed and disgusted by what everyone said when it comes to just overall this topic. In the end of it, let Stefan Diggs handle his situation because that has to do with him. Let's mind our business. Cardi, go get ready for your freaking tour. Jessie Woo, girl, go be Jessie Woo, okay? And Tasha, go pay Cardi her $4 million. But still, that's what I got to say about that. That's all I got to say. I didn't like the fact that I did not like it at all that Cardi B mentioned so-and-so's essay. I didn't like some of the things that Tasha K had said in the past before. And I didn't like some of the things that Jessie Woo did. Like the revenge baby thing. You was being messy for even putting that on the screen. I have to say that. You were being messy. That's not good. Please. I get it. This is like your second time having beef with Cardi. Just leave the girl alone. I feel like y'all forget. She is literally going through postpartum depression. She's going through the aspect of like a divorce. Her ex crashing out. Her ex embarrassing her still somehow, some way. You have Stefan and his whole drama and then all these damn freaking court case and allegations. It's just too much. And let's not forget she had her whole court case. I don't know what it is. I'm not giving anybody grace when it comes to this. All I'm going to say is y'all all said something messed up. That's it. And I need people to realize when it comes to who you defend your faves, you do not know these people in real life. You do not know these people. You do not know them. Even if you bumped into them in the bathroom, hey, oh, I'm a big fan. That's it. That's all it is. They're still regular people just like you. They use the bathroom just like you. They eat just like you. They might eat different qualities of food than you. They might be sitting on a different toilet than you. But guess what? They're still human too. Now let's talk about the Scots, right? So we know Christy and Desmond, they are a couple from TikTok. They are a Jehovah's Witness couple. I'm emphasizing on that so I can explain to you guys a few things. They've been together since they were like what, 14? They got married. They have two sons. They got very popular on TikTok and ended up moving. Well, Christy said that she is divorcing Desmond and it was due to infidelity. I don't know if you guys know, but they're saying is that since they are Jehovah's Witness, the only way they divorce is if there is infidelity, which I didn't know none of that. But hey, they don't celebrate holidays and they're only leaving if you cheating. So I'm putting that out there for somebody who might be with a Jehovah's Witness. So in addition to that, when they broke the news, people started crashing out on TikTok. And when I heard the news, I was not surprised. Personally, for me, I was just trying to figure out, Desmond, did you cheat on Christy with a woman or a man? Because he always just gave me those vibes, and I got the confirmation from friends, and I was just like, I know you see a little bi. I feel like he's bi curious. You know, sometimes we look at somebody, it's like, you're not living your truth. That's what I always got when I looked at him. That's just my opinion. But even with that, when you would watch their videos, it always gave performative. The laugh was always exaggerated. I don't know how you guys sat through those videos and laughed your ass off. I cannot like sit down and watch them. I get bored, not entertained. Even with the fact that like the house that they picked and everything, they picked the most minimalist, basic home. I was just like, okay, this is like the influencer starter pack. I will say, I'll give Christy props for the fact that Desmond was the one that started the whole social media, but she was the one that propelled it. But I don't like how you guys are coming out with think pieces and saying that, oh, he was jealous of her. We don't know these people. Once again, we don't know these people. We do not know these people to be coming out with these big think pieces and saying that, oh, relationships, this and that, because a lot of you guys were like, oh my God, this was the only couple that you could look up to. Look out for all these other couples. I just want you guys to know is that a lot of these like family channels, relationship channels, yeah, they're in a relationship, but now their relationship is a business. It's a business now. And another thing too is, 'cause I know somebody's probably contemplating to go make a couples channel with their partner. I just wanted to let you know, if you are like a heterosexual couple, I just want you to let you know this. And if you're the man of the relationship, listen to it. I just want to let you know, if you guys break up, the followers are going to her. They're not going to you. We saw that with De'Ara and Ken, and we're seeing this currently with Desmond and Christy. So think well if you really want to make a couples channel. And some people are like, this is why I hide my relationship. Just because you hide a relationship don't mean shit. Just because you hide a relationship doesn't mean that this can't happen to you. Like, girl, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. And it's the fact that Desmond had put out a apology letter and saying that he'd expressed that he wanted to leave so badly, but she was just not listening, so he decided to cheat on her. But now that we're hearing that Jehovah Witnesses only leave unless they cheat, I was like, okay, now it's starting to make sense. But it's also like, girl, when a man tells you he don't want you, just let it go. You got to move on. He tells you once he don't want you, move on. Move on. You don't want to be with somebody who don't want you. You want to be with somebody who actually wants you and genuinely wants to be with you. I get it. The relationship was a business, but guess what? Now you can make content about you being a single mom and putting yourself out there and chasing your dreams, and you live in LA. I will personally say this. I won't be surprised if Christy gets married again or gets her a new man. She's a beautiful woman. She'll bounce back. When it comes to Desmond, sir, go explore yourself. Go live your truth, whatever it is. I still Yeah, that's my opinion. Go live your truth or go do you. I think another thing too, and I was just talking to a friend about high school sweethearts. It's like those high school sweethearts, especially when it comes to those relationships. Everybody I know who's married their high school sweethearts are hot messes. They're telling, like, I've had people who married their high school sweetheart personally tell me, like, I wish like I had time to, and this is, I'm talking about homegirls too telling me this. I wish I had time to like explore my options, like just to live my life more, just to like have fun. And I'm just like, girl, like I literally had a conversation with somebody and they married their high school sweetheart and they told me they felt that they settled. And I'm like, you know what? Let me mind my business. Because once again, I don't give people relationship advice. I don't. Because the last time I gave somebody relationship advice, they didn't take it and they didn't end up doing the advice I gave them until 3 years after. So I don't give no advice. But I'm going to say this, if you are with your high school sweetheart, I'm happy that worked out for you. And because also, too, is we have to realize, too, is every relationship has like its pros and cons. And I'm just saying by what I've been shown by example for high school sweethearts around in my neighborhood. Hot mess. But you know what? If it works for them, they like it. I love it for them. So it's really about what you're willing to tolerate, right? Even when it comes to like relationships, even if you get in a relationship at like an older age, it's all about what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not willing to tolerate. That's simply what it is. Well, now this is that discovery time for both of them to truly discover who they are as people. That's simply what it is. They can co-parent. You can make content about co-parenting. All I'm going to say is, Desmond, you and this whole chef stuff, why were you not going harder with the content? You could have literally been on Tastemade, which is owned by BuzzFeed. You could have been on Tasty. You could have partnered with like Chef Priyanka. Chef Priyanka is a chef in New York who used to work for Twitter. She got laid off when Elon Musk took over, and then she created her own platform and now has like a cookbook and everything like that. You could have done something like that. I get it, you're doing that now, but now it's like, okay, you might as well do the content about you being a single father. You're a chef. You guys could have done a ghost kitchen. You could have done a food truck when you guys were back in like, where are they from? Texas or something like that? Wherever they're from. You could have done a ghost kitchen. You could have done something like that. But hey, it is what it is, the end of it. Christy, girl, the majority of the followers are going to follow you. And another thing too, and I just forgot to mention this, when it comes to divorces, whoever files the divorce first sets the tone. I know he's mad that he couldn't have been the first one to file it, because sometimes it speaks volumes when the man be filing. But when the woman does it, ooh, yes. When she does it, she won the race. She won it. She literally won it. And you know what? It is what it is. But it's these parasocial relationships saying that, oh my God, your couple goals. Can I just say this? Fuck your couple goals. I say this all the time. Fuck your couple goals. Fuck your couple goals. I need you guys to really sit with yourselves and write down what you want in a partner. Write that down. Now look at yourself in the mirror. Everything you have listed that you want in that partner, do you fit what that person will want out of you? Now think about that. And then I want you to go live your life the way that you can attract that person that you want. Okay? That's it. Stop looking to people on the internet. Stop looking at these couples just because you don't know what they're going through. Look at Aaliyah J, right? Aaliyah J is the it girl that we all knew from New York. But look at what she's going through and look at some of those TikTok comments. And when people called her out for her shit, she started blocking people, right? And I can say this about Aaliyah J, and I had a conversation with a friend about this. She's the type of person to get with a guy just because he gave her attention. He don't need to have his shit together just because he gave her attention. She want him. And guess what? She was hiding her dude's face. And we finally saw his face. Not impressed. One last thing I want to say this. And then I'm going to end this topic. I need you guys to stop hiding your partner's faces. Please. The men do it too sometimes. Majority of the time, we're never impressed by the face card. I just saw Aaliyah J's boyfriend. I was like, really this? This is what she was hiding? Because the majority of the time, y'all behind the face and we're never impressed. Never impressed. I am not impressed by these things. But then again, too, I'm the type of person, your personality matters more to me than your looks sometimes. Yes, you gotta be a little cute, but please know how to hold a conversation. Have a brain, have a noggin. Please. Please. I like smart people. But still, when she showed her boyfriend, we're just like, this? Well, her fiance, this is what had you up all night, like Beyonce said. This, ugh, like Glorilla said, ugh, like yuck. I was not impressed. I'm never impressed by these things. But then again, to you, y'all are like, you're the type of person where we'll be like, oh, so and so fine, and I'm just like, I don't see it. Then again, too, I am more of a person. I gotta like your mind before I like your looks. I gotta like your mind, but still. I'm gonna say it. Like my friend Larry says it. We need to start showing our relationship like the white girls. The thing that I noticed with the white girl influencers, they'll show the whole relationship. If they break up, they just delete everything. That's it. Let's just do that. Show it off. Majority of the time, the dude don't even be looking good anyways. The girl be prettier in the relationship anyways. Just show it off. Who cares? And the end of it too, even if you're hiding their face, that person made their, well, I'm not gonna say vows, but that person is loyal to you. They're committed to you. If they're committed to you, they're gonna stay committed to you. Let's end the show with this. Please touch grass. Because guess what? When it comes to parasocial relationships, stop going hard for people that don't even know you exist. Thank you so much for listening to Words With Wista. You can find this podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon. Wherever you found it is where you got to follow it. Write a review. 5 stars, 10 stars. Give your girl all the stars because I'm a superstar. Yeah. Write a review. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Wista, ITSWISTA. You can also follow the podcast on Instagram at Words With Wista. You can also follow me on Substack. I do write on Substack every bi-weekly. I do have a Substack article coming out on Wednesday, so be on the lookout for that. Yes, we will be back on Friday with another episode. You guys have an amazing week. Just know that you are loved, okay? I love you guys, okay? I love you guys. But either way, stay safe, do you, and remember, it's only been 12 days of the new year. You have plenty of time to achieve your goals and to achieve whatever is on your vision board. Just know I believe in you. Now, I gotta go, but make sure y'all write that review. And if you want to be featured on the podcast, because we are doing interviews, please reach out to me. Thank you. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.